So I guess the question is, are skeptics really that bad? If you ask a majority of Bigfooters, they can't stand the skeptic. And you ask some of the skeptics, they can't stand most Bigfooters. But I think not all skeptics are bad. Some of them have an open mind. Some of them don't. Bigfooters the same way. You know, some Bigfooters think everything is related to Bigfoot. You know, a broken tree branch, it's Bigfoot. They hear a vocalization, which could be a fox. Oh, nope, that's a Bigfoot, you know. So the battle keeps going back and forth between Bigfooters and skeptics. But the main question that skeptics always throw out, where's the body? Where are the bones? You know, where are the bones? And of course, the typical answer that the Bigfooters give is that, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest, you know, animals decompose quicker out in Mother Nature. They get the remains get scattered by other predator animals that come in and feed on them. Bones get scattered. Porcupines eat the bones. You know, a variety of stuff, right? That's their basic answer to explain why no one's found Bigfoot bones yet. But I could technically walk out 40, 50 yards from this spot right here. I guarantee I could find a bone. It could be a leg bone. It could be a rib bone. It could be part of a spinal cord. You find bones scattered about in the forest. All right. You can most likely identify what you find as a deer bone, maybe an elk, you know, a rabbit, or, you know, some type of animal bone. Occasionally you find a skull. It's not unheard of just to walk out and find some bones from a previous kill. So when they say where are the bones, it's not really that bad of a question. You know, I mean, it makes sense. Of course, some Bigfooters would argue the fact, you know, that the government's covering it up, or the Smithsonian's hiding the bones, the military's involved, all these different scenarios. And to a skeptic, when you counter their question with a possible conspiracy theory, your credibility kind of gets shot a little bit. Because I'm curious, you know, like, why don't we have any bones? You know, I mean, it's a decent question to ask, and it's something that should be pondered on. You know, some people believe that the Sasquatch bury their dead, but do they do the same practice that humans do? That we dig 6 feet down and then bury our deceased loved ones? Or do they just bury them in a shallow grave, pile some rocks on them? What? There's an area, there's a couple of areas around here where the state picks up all the dead roadkill off the highway. They take the animals up, they dump them into this pit, and then cover it up with dirt, and, you know, move on. Next day you come back, and a bear or a wolf or some other predator animal has come in, dug a hole up, and next thing you know, you got the ass end of a deer sticking out of the ground, and its rear leg's been ripped off and dragged away. You would think they'd do the same thing to a Sasquatch body. I don't know. It's it's a hard thing to argue for either way. But mosquitoes are bad here. Seriously, I mean, where are the bones? We have, you know, fossil records of pretty much every known animal out there, except for a Sasquatch. Now, could their bones be misidentified as human bones? Who knows? I mean, we do have specimens that are quite large. But I mean, how do you prove you have Sasquatch bones? You know, Bigfooters are pretty passionate about their belief in Bigfoot and the evidence they present. And the skeptics are just as passionate on not believing any of the evidence because it's not enough to convince them. Now, does that mean every skeptic is just closed-minded? I don't think so. I think a majority of them just want that scientific proof of no doubt whatsoever. I think Bigfooters are more eager to get excited over, you know, a vocalization or finding, you know, some tracks in the ground, stuff like that. And the skeptics, like, you know, that could be anything, you know. The tracks could be a hoax. The vocalization could be any other possible animal, even human, responding to whatever the Bigfooter was doing before the vocalization happened or whatever. It's like, I saw this meme one time where this person's like, oh my gosh, that's a really powerful knock, you know, as they're knocking on a tree. And then another picture shows another squatcher on the other side of the ridge going, oh my gosh, there's a Sasquatch here, and he's knocking on a tree. So they're both communicating back and forth, thinking each other's a Sasquatch. In my opinion, you gotta have a thick skin when it comes to Bigfooting. If you don't, then you're going to get triggered on every little thing. And if you're not comfortable with the fact that your evidence is not going to be accepted by people, then maybe you shouldn't post that evidence. Of course, I share everything I have because I don't care what people think. And I can't prove that it was made by a Sasquatch. I can't prove that every knock that I record, every vocalization I capture is a Sasquatch. I can't do that because I didn't see the Sasquatch actually do it. Same with the tracks, you know. I can only speculate. But skeptics need, basically, you know, they need harder evidence to back up their stuff, you know. So, I mean, there's going to always be this battle between Bigfooters and skeptics. I mean, it's a given. But, you know, we shouldn't be discouraged by it. You know, when the skeptic says, I need more evidence, well, make sure you go out and find more evidence to back up your claim. All right? Of course, you know, some evidence is never, ever going to be enough unless there's a body laid out on a table so some scientists can dissect it. Now, I'm not out to kill a Bigfoot, but I'm also not against, you know, a specimen being taken in alive or dead. You know, I have no problem with that. Or if, you know, a Sasquatch is creamed by a semi and they got to pull it out of the grill, you know, that'd probably be the the best way to get one, I guess, because nobody'd be at fault for killing it. I don't know, I mean, there's a site on Facebook, a lot of Bigfooters know it, and a lot of Bigfooters hate it. It's called, I think it's called Coalition of Critical Thinking of Bigfoot, something like that. Now these guys, they rip apart everything and anything Bigfoot. They'll mock you. They'll give the laughing emoji at everything you say. if you're a Bigfoot believer and you choose to argue with them. And a lot of Bigfooters, you know, hate everybody in that group, and they stay away from it. I've been following them for several years now, ever since I started into this thing. And I'll admit, you know, some of them are dicks, but I'll admit, you know, several of them can be a little, well, in your face, directly, so to speak. But that's just the way things are. If you, sites like that, you know, shouldn't be hated. But, you know, so many Bigfooters, you know, consider that group and other skeptics basically the enemy of the Bigfoot world. And in my opinion, I think a portion of the Bigfoot world is, you know, they're their own worst enemy. They pounce on every single thing and say it's Bigfoot when really it's not. You know, let's take the military for example. Let's say they're going to go in and fight in a certain area, have a battle. They're going to want to recon the area, know the type of terrain they're going into. Bigfooters should be the same way. We should be doing our research on the environment, elevations, the landscape, everything. Then the military would also study their enemy, know their habits, their techniques, learn everything you can about them, because that'll make you a better soldier going against the enemy. Bigfooters should do the same thing when it comes to the skeptics. Study your opponent. Learn what they know. Listen to what they have to say. And that should help you be able to maybe help you be a better researcher. Now, like I said, I've been following that group for maybe a decade now. I don't know. And I've learned a lot. You know, I've a lot of them aren't, you know, anti-Bigfoot. They're just, you know, they just want hard evidence. And you can't blame them for that. I'm the same way. I want an actual visual sighting of this creature. Because right now, I'm still on the fence. You know, yes, I've heard tons of vocalizations, knocks, found a few tracks, had some close encounters with something. But I didn't see it, you know. Now, even though the skeptics may hound you for more evidence, more concrete evidence, that shouldn't be a bad thing. That should just make you step up your game. And when you do have evidence, throw those questions that they throw at you through your own head. Can you prove that this was a Bigfoot? Can you prove what you're seeing or what you're hearing is an actual Sasquatch? I mean, you can analyze vocalizations. I mean, you can get a, you know, a spectrograph of it, you know, and analyze the sounds. You can analyze the tracks, you know. Dr. Muldrin's, you know, and I mean, his theory of the tracks are interesting. But I'm just going to say theory because, you know, nothing is concrete yet because we don't have a Sasquatch foot to actually study. Of course, some people say, you know, well, we got the Patterson video and it shows how it walks, you know, so we can, you know, explain the tracks. Maybe, you know. I'm on the fence with the whole Patterson video. I mean, it's from another generation, you know. It happened before I was even born. Now, I'm not saying it's fake or anything. It's just, if it was proven, let's just say hypothetically it was let's just say hypothetically it was a hoax, and it was proven to be a hoax, my mindset wouldn't change, you know, on what I'm doing now. Because I've experienced stuff, you know, I've heard stuff, I've kind of seen stuff, and that's what keeps me motivated in my search. I saw a post not too long ago that they said that 90% of the Bigfoot reports are probably misidentifications or just flat out a hoax. Now, I don't know where they got the scientific data on that one, but let's just say, you know, for argument's sake, that 90% of Bigfoot reports are fake or a misidentification of like a bear or something. What about the other 10%? That other 10% could be true. Even if it was just 1%, if there was, I mean, if there was just the slightest bit of possibility, wouldn't that just, you know, pique your interest just a little? I know it's probably impossible to get skeptics and Bigfooters on the same page. But the skeptics seem to be pretty united. All right, they stick together, and they have the same belief system that it's not real. But if it is real, show the evidence. Good, solid scientific evidence. You look at the Bigfooters. Bigfooters are all over the place, you know? The Bigfooters are battling with each other. Some just want a pat on the back. Others are just like, everything's Bigfoot. Ape, human, a hybrid, alien, spirit, interdimensional being, whatever, you know? Bigfooters are just battling each other continuously. But the skeptics stay united. Maybe if more Bigfooters were half Bigfooters and half skeptics, I wonder how that would work. Because that's where I'm at. I'm never worried about someone, you know, ripping apart my evidence or anything like that. I welcome it. Give me another explanation. I'm all ears. Of course, some Bigfooters, including myself, you know, will hear this badass vocalization, right? It's so freaking loud. It drowns out your campfire, everything. It's just awesome. But when you hear it on the audio recorder, you know, it doesn't do it justice, you know. And of course, you'll get some personal comments saying that, oh, you didn't experience anything, it wasn't that loud, blah, 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 blah. But of course, they weren't here to experience it, you know. And there could be other people with you that witnessed and experienced the exact same thing. But this individual is just, you know, flat out convinced that, you know, what you have is absolutely nothing. It's a vicious cycle. Vicious. My opinion is stay away from the drama. You know, if you don't have thick skin, don't get involved in this. I wish I knew a little bit of the stuff before I got involved into it. I did a lot of armchair research before, and I was reading stories about people who, you know, they committed so much time and effort into this that, you know, it costed them their marriage, their job, their friendships. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And one thing, I keep detailed journals of all my trips out. And on the very first page of my first journal, I wrote, "Do not let this thing become a parasite in your life." So I have made it, you know, a mission basically not to let this consume me and let this control my life. I think, so what's the answer? How can Bigfooters and skeptics come to a common ground? Is that even possible? I don't know. My approach to this, unlike a lot of other Bigfooters, is, let's say, you know, a Bigfooter had an experience and he became a Bigfooter after that. And after his experience, he you know, shared what he saw with his friends, family, whatever, and they laughed at him. And that has motivated a lot of people to go out to prove the existence of these things to the people that laughed at them. Others want to prove it to science, you know, make a name for themselves and prove the existence of this scientifically. Then there's people like myself. I don't care about the scientific community. I don't care about proving it to my friends, my family, to anybody. All I want to do is prove it to myself. And that has made Bigfooting so much easier for me. I guess that's why I can take the criticism. I can listen to other viewpoints that are way, way away from the whole Bigfoot thing. Because the only person that I'm going to disappoint is myself. And I don't want to be one of those individuals that, oh yeah, I found some tracks, or, you know, I caught some vocalizations and it turns out I was totally wrong. You know, that's going to happen. You know, I'd hate for that to happen, but it's going to happen. You know, we all could be misidentifying something. So basically, I don't think Bigfooters and skeptics are ever going to see eye to eye. And they shouldn't have to. If you are convinced of your evidence, that should be enough, right? Do you really need the approval of other people? I guess everyone's a little different. Me, I'm pretty much just I'm smack dab right in the middle of, you know, of being, you know, a skeptic and a believer. I'm in like this weird little limbo area where, am I getting Bigfoot? Am I not? I love the question, where are the bones? You know, I really do. Where's the fossil record of these things? You know, I mean, there's stories going back, you know, hundreds of years, but where's the evidence? And of course, you know, people are out there trying to look for that evidence, and they're made fun of by the skeptic community for wasting their time. One thing I find interesting is that we're taught in public schools and stuff like that in our science books that the evolutionary theory, even though people seem to leave off the theory part and just say, you know, it's evolution. let's just say hypothetically that it wasn't a theory and that it is actual solid science proof that we evolved from apes. Okay? I'm always baffled when you hear, scientists and say that, they can't accept the existence of Sasquatch because there's no evidence, no scientific evidence to back it up. But they believe that we evolved from apes, though. So if this is a ape, or if it's a human, whatever you want to argue it, what if that is like the missing link? You have reports of a walking primate that has the appearance and behavior pattern of an ape, but the walk and appearance of a possible human. You would think the scientific community would be like, hey, that could prove evolution. But they're not interested. Why? Sometimes I wonder, am I wasting my time? Could Bigfoot not be real? I mean, it's always a possibility. But if there's just a small percentage that it could be real, what's wrong in trying to look for it? If it is real, eventually someone's going to prove it. It'd be hilarious if it was a skeptic driving down the highway and it just, they just hit one trying to cross the road, and it just is like laying right there on their hood with its face right against the windshield. I guess my philosophy is go out, have a good time, enjoy yourself, enjoy nature, whether anything happens or not, or whether you find anything or not. Because the only thing that matters is what you think, not what other people think. Enjoy yourself. And if you get scared at night because something just screamed at you, knocked at you, embrace it, enjoy it, take it in. Because there's something out here. Whether it's Bigfoot or not, there's something out here.